woke up and felt it was pretty chilly out this morning. I checked the weather. Apparently the low is 41 degrees, although it felt cooler than that. Maybe I'm just getting tired of the chillier temperatures and want to get back to the warmer temperatures. Maybe that's what it is. You know, here in San Diego, it's quite normal for us to kind of slip into spring type weather as soon as it gets to be February. So usually we're past most of the extra cold weather. Not that it ever gets really cold here in San Diego. I mean, it gets down to usually about freezing. At night would be about the lowest. That's even kind of rare for out at the coast, like where I usually am. Now inland, you go inland a few miles, and it's definitely a little bit colder. I had intended to do a little hiking, and that was in a spot that's just a little bit inland. And I checked the weather over there a couple of days ago and decided to hold off on it until maybe next week, because it was about 5 to 10 degrees colder inland than it was here at the coast. So I always want to be near the ocean, but when the weather is better at the ocean, even in the wintertime, it's just another reason for me just to stay put right here. Well, I found a wonderful place to park last night. I am right at the ocean and just steps away from the beach. So let's get this day started. Well, I'm feeling a little grumpy. I've been editing all day today, so my eyes are tired. I'm tired. I don't want to look at my iPad again. I don't really want to be looking at my phone again, but I am right now because that's what I use as a camera. Anyway, to cheer myself up a little bit, I made some coffee. I've lost track of how many cups of coffee I've had today. I want to say this is the 4th. But that's kind of normal when I have a long day of editing video. I usually just keep making coffee. It's a nice little break that I can just put the iPad down and do something else where I don't have to concentrate on looking at a screen for a few minutes. And then once it's done, I just go back to the editing, and then I have something to sip on. And of course, you know, it's my favorite thing. So, so it's usual for me to just drink tons and tons of coffee, so I shouldn't really be having another cup now, but I've had enough already. But it'll kind of help get me a little less grumpy. Oh, and then the other thing is I cut my hair. Was that yesterday or the day before? Now I don't remember. The days are kind of blending together here this week for some reason. And I thought I did a really, really good job. But today I've noticed that, you know, after I've got it washed a little bit, today I've noticed it's not quite as even as it looked after I'd cut it. I mean, it's still fine. I'm not upset with the haircut or anything, and I'm not even going to try to fix it. I mean, you really got to look close to see some of the uneven patches, but yeah, it's a little bit uneven. Oh well. Part of what's been bugging me today is not necessarily that I've had a full day of editing work on the iPad, but just that I've been steps away from the beach, and I had to move the van a little while ago. I moved a few hours ago over to another spot, so I'm about a block away from where I was before, just because I was parked under a tree and I wasn't getting any sun on my solar panel. And we've had a few dark days here recently, so now that we've got a bright sunny day, I've been trying to get as much sun on the solar panel because trying to take care of my new battery, so got to give it as much power as possible. I feed myself coffee and I'm feeding the battery power. And anyway, but I'm still really just steps away from the beach, so I think maybe I should move. Let's put my cap on my coffee here and walk back down over there. Yeah. Well, that was exactly what I needed, but as great as that was, I am tired. I am really tired. So I better get dinner started or I won't be making it at all unless I get it going now. All right, I am gonna make some mac and cheese, except I'm not because I have fusilli. So I'm gonna make silly mac and cheese. Silly cheese, fusilli cheese. I wanted something hearty, so I thought some mac and cheese would be good, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm not sure if I've shown how I've made mac and cheese in the past, but I really don't follow a recipe for this. There's no need to. So I never boil my water before I cook my pasta anymore. I just haven't found the need to, and all I do is I just start it cold and I just cover the pasta with a little bit of water and then bring it up to a boil. Obviously throw some salt in it, and I find that it works out just fine. So that's the way I do it. It just saves a little bit of gas, and I think that's, like, for me, that's really important, especially this time of year. If I'm going to be running my heater, I need to just be mindful of how much gas I'm using. So that's kind of why I do it this way. Although I know not everybody agrees with cooking pasta this way, but I gotta tell you, it works. And if it saves a little bit of propane, you know, and besides, you know what Julia Child used to say, you know, you're alone in the kitchen. So, I mean, as long as you like it and it turns out just fine, it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, got the pasta started, and while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna just do a little bit of prep. In my mac and cheese, I'm gonna put some peas, and also, do I have any? Oh, I do, good. Also some corn, and this corn is fire roasted corn. I really like this stuff. You know, you get the sweetness from the corn, and then you get the kind of smokiness from the roasting on these, and these are just really tasty. Trader Joe's, obviously, if you can't see that. So since these are frozen vegetables, I'm just going to get them out and thaw them a little bit right now. And then the other thing I need is, I'm going to add in some green chilies. So I don't think these are spicy, but they'll have a nice flavor too, and they kind of go along with the corn. They're smoky in flavor and got tons and tons of flavor, so This will be the kind of secret ingredient here today. Oh, and then I do need to chop up my cheese. And yes, I'm chopping my cheese. I'm not grating it because I don't believe in cheese graters. That's right. I don't think cheese graters exist. All right, the pasta is almost cooked, so I'm gonna just throw the veg in. So that'll finish thawing those out while the pasta finishes off cooking. Hopefully those will come together at the same time. This pot gets hot. You know, the one issue I've had with the stove is the ring is so big on it that I get a bunch of heat that comes up around the outside of it, and it makes anything that has a small handle like this really hot. So I've been keeping a towel here on just a little magnet clip. And this is not for cleaning up. I just keep this for grabbing a pot off the stove, especially like this one that has a short handle. Sometimes I forget and I grab the handle, and I don't have restaurant hands anymore. You know, I've worked in a restaurant for years, and you got used to picking up hot stuff a little more, you know, than a normal person. Yeah, because we all know that restaurant people, cooks and chefs are not normal people. But I am not superhuman anymore. Not that I ever was. Pasta's good. Gonna turn that off, and I put a little too much water in here. But that's okay. I'm just gonna dump it out. I don't have a colander. I just use my fish spatula, and I'm gonna dump off some of the water, but not all of the water. So as you might know, most real mac and cheese uses a bechamel sauce as a base, and bechamel is basically just like paste. You know, it's like wallpaper paste. It's not tasty. I don't like it. So instead of using a paste or an ingredient that I don't like, I just do it this way. I leave a little bit of the cooking water in there, and there's plenty of starch in that water to kind of make a little bit of a sauce with the cheese. And then also, to try to help with that sauce, I add some nutritional yeast. And this is really good for B vitamins. If you're vegan, you probably know of this. If you're not, you may not have been aware of this. But this has a really good cheesy taste to it. So if we mix this in here, it's not going to dissolve, but it's going to kind of work itself in with the cheese and with the water, the pasta water that I left. And it's going to make a nice little extra cheesy sauce here. The last thing is our secret ingredient, and I just tried these a minute ago, and they're not spicy at all, these green chilies, but they have a really nice flavor. So hopefully that will just bring this up a notch. Probably needs a little bit more cheese, honestly, but I think I'm just going to leave it. I've really been craving vegetables lately, so I tried to go heavy on the vegetables and lighter on the cheese. You know, you can tell when I'm hungry because normally I cook meals in this little pot. This is kind of like, you know, a fairly decent serving size. But tonight I went for the big pot because I'm hungry. You know, I like mac and cheese, but putting green chilies in it is just brilliant. It's not really my idea. Other people do it, but yeah, I just had a craving for it, and since I had some green chilies tonight, this is the perfect meal for me today. So hey, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it.